There's a little over a week left in Mariners spring training, and there's a guy we have to talk about. Robbie Ray, or should I say Bob?
Is Bob Robbie's nickname?
Yeah, that's his pitching nickname.
Has been absolutely dominant this spring and for multiple reasons. In today's start against the White Sox, he went 4 innings, giving up 2 hits and 2 walks along with 9 strikeouts, no runs allowed. He was hitting 97 miles an hour with his fastball, velocity was up with his slider as well, and he was using that new splitter that he came in with this offseason. This lowered his spring training stat line over 4 games started to a ridiculous .75 ERA, just 9 hits allowed in 12 innings pitched, along with 21 strikeouts to 5 walks, holding opponents to a batting average of .209 with a 1.17 whip, and that's a strikeouts per 9 of 15.75. Now, of course, this is only spring training, but this is looking like a Robbie Ray that won some hardware back in 2021. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Mariners and MLB content throughout the season. Here's what Ty France had to say about Robbie this spring.
How about Bob?
Is Bob Robbie's nickname?
Yeah, that's his pitching nickname. You got Walter for Logan, and you got Bob for Robbie.
Well, now Walter and Logan are very different people. Are Robbie and Bob different people?
Not too different. Bob locks it in a little bit more. He's a little more serious, but he's really good about being Robbie and Bob.
Hey, we were talking about Robbie this spring. A little extra giddy up on the fastball. The slider's looking sharp as always. You have the splitter. What's it been like for you, your viewpoint, Ty?
He was dominant last year, but he looks really good this spring.
There's that splitter.
The new pitch, the velo, that's going to be huge for him because last year he was a little down from the year before, so throwing the slider a lot harder. You can see today a lot more swing and miss, so I think he's in a good spot.
In 2021, Robbie's 4-seamer averaged 94.8 miles an hour, his sinker at 95, and that slider at 88.6. Whereas in 2022, he did see a decrease in velocity, that 4-seamer at 93.4, sinker at 93.3, and the slider at 87.2. So in general, he saw a velocity drop of about 1.5 miles an hour from 21 to 22. In today's game, after Robbie got off the mound, he answered some questions and explained why that drop in velocity might have occurred.
Robbie, your uptick in velocity has been one of the real eye-opening things in camp this year. What do you credit that to?
I think for me, just a normal offseason. Not having to go through the free agent process, not really knowing where you're going, having the travel, and then the lockout, and then the shortened spring training. Just having a normal process this offseason just really helped me.
Robbie, your offseason training, though, I think it's fair to say it's unique. I mean, you are really a power lifter. Can you give us a little more insight as to what your kind of day-to-day routine is during the offseason?
Yeah, wake up in the morning, whether it's an upper body or lower body. Typically, take the kids to school, drop them off, come back, get a lift in, and then usually get my throwing in, and then I come back later in the day after the kids go to bed and get back in the gym and get after it again.
Is most of it heavy?
So in the mornings I usually train heavy, and then in the evenings I train explosive.
So you and Tom Murphy just talk all the time, then?
Yeah, we actually do talk a lot. I bounce some things off of him, and yeah, he's been a big help for me.
And then here's Robbie talking about his spring training as well as that new splitter.
You must be feeling great. Tell us how you're feeling right now so far in spring.
Yeah, I feel really good. I feel like the fastball's coming out really well. I threw some really good splitters today, which I was happy about. Some early count splitters, some that got me back into some counts. So very encouraging with that, and the slider felt great too.
Yeah, everything looked really good. How often do you think you'll throw the splitter this year? I mean, your velo is at 95, 96 again today with that hard slider, but the split has been fun to watch. This is my second outing seeing you.
Yeah, I think it's just another weapon. I think kind of how I used it today to get back into counts, and it's a pitch that you really have to focus on getting extension with, and I feel like it gets me kind of back into the zone. So it's one of those pitches where I might not use it a whole lot, but it is going to be effective for me.
Let's talk about the splitter a little bit, Robbie. Was this your idea, the org's idea? How did this come about?
Yeah, me and Logan actually were kind of joking about it at the end of the year last year, that we were both going to come back with splitters, and we just both happened to do it. It was something that we kind of worked on in the off season, just messing around. I would text him, hey, how's the split? And it kind of was one of those things where we actually started throwing it, and then get to spring and actually being able to work on it in the bullpen and throwing it to catchers. It's been great.
Yeah, yours looked really good today. How's Logan's coming along? I haven't had a chance to see him yet.
His is nasty. Yeah, I mean, everything that comes out of that guy's hands is nasty. So he's really fun to watch.
So can you tell us from your point of view why the splitter was an important thing for you to add?
Yeah, I think for me it's just something that is not a fastball going arm side. I'm not trying to locate really like with it down and away. I'm just trying to shade it to the outer part. Whereas like the 2-seam last year, it was kind of going that way as well, but it was the same velo as my fastball. So I was just looking for something that was a little bit off of the heater, but still had that arm side movement.
I thought it was really impressive last year when you started to throw the 2-seamer, incorporate that, because it seemed like you had pretty good command of it right away. Will we see less of that this year now that you're talking about the fastball and split?
Yeah, I think my main focus is my 4-seam. I feel really good with my 4-seam. It feels like it's coming out, it's exploding through the zone. So that's kind of my main focus with the fastball. And then obviously the two other pitches, the slider and the split, those are kind of my main focus right now.
And then here's Robbie talking about the new pitch timer and how pitchers might be able to use it as an additional weapon.
I think for me, it's not really an issue. I feel like I tend to do better when I work quicker anyways. There's kind of less time to make some mistakes, whether it's mentally or something mechanically. For me, I don't really have an issue with the pitch clock. I think it's probably a little bit more of an adjustment for hitters. Only being able to call time once, and then once you call time, you're kind of just stuck in the box, and you have to be in the box ready to go by 8 seconds. So I think the adjustment is going to be a little bit harder for the position players than pitchers.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, Robbie. When you put yourself in the shoes of a hitter, especially if you're facing a pitcher of your caliber with just dominating stuff, do you feel like it could almost become an additional weapon for you? As now, if you're having a chance to possibly really overwhelm a guy because there's no relief, and it's power slider, fastball. I mean, there's no escape.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be able to be used as a weapon. I mean, especially if a guy calls time early in the bat. He's at your mercy at that point. And, he just has to be ready by 8 seconds in the box, alert, looking at you. So I think for me, and then at that point, you can just make the guy sit in the box for 8 seconds and then deliver the pitch on one. So, for me, it's going to be able to be used for pitchers a lot better than hitters.
Is that a strategy that you guys have discussed?
There's some different things that we've talked about using the pitch clock, and I mean the biggest thing is just making sure we don't have any violations.
Sure.
I think that's the number one thing. And then once you get that down and you get that figured out, then you can start messing around with it.
So if Robbie can maintain this uptick in velocity, along with that new splitter, add in the pitch timer as a weapon, and it seems that he has a big 2023 on the way. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and who do you think will be the best Mariners pitcher in 2023?
All right, guys, goodbyes only. Don't forget it.